Are you thinking of moving to the Seattle metro area with your family, but you don't know what the best suburbs are for families? Well, this video, I'm going to tell you the top 10 best suburbs of Seattle for families. Hey everybody, my name is Tova Williamson, and on this channel, I shoot tons of videos of what it's like to live in the Seattle metro area. So if those are videos you want more of, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, click the bell, you'll be notified every time a new video comes on. We get reach outs all the time from people moving to the area. We absolutely love hearing from you, but we can't help unless you reach out. So give us a call, email, text. We've got your back when you're moving to Seattle. So today in this video, I am going to talk about the 10 best Seattle suburbs for families. Now, this is a list that's on the niche.com website. This is not a list that I compiled myself. I'm just going off of what they have totaled up for the top 10 best suburbs of Seattle. And they look at things based on like school ratings, safety ratings, affordability. Well, not necessarily affordability because some of these are kind of expensive, but they really look at school ratings, crime ratings are kind of their big indicators of what the top 10 Seattle suburbs for families are. So let's dive right in. Number 1 is Yarrow Point. So I'm going to pull it up here on a map for you. Yarrow Point. It's a suburb that is east of Seattle. So we've got, this is Seattle, this is the east side. So Yarrow Point is right here. It's, I don't even know. I wouldn't even call it like a suburb. It's just like this very exclusive community within the east side. A lot of view homes you can see. I mean, it's tiny. There's no restaurants or anything. You're going to be going into Bellevue, anywhere else. There's the population's about 1,000 people, and there's about 405 homes total here. So not a ton of properties available to choose from. It's very small, pretty exclusive. The median sales price in this area is 4.6 million too. So it's not affordable by any means. And there's no condos. It's all single family homes, but it's been deemed the #1 suburb by niche.com. So number 1 is Yarrow Point. Number 2 that we're going to talk about is Clyde Hill. So also over here on the east side, it's just south of Yarrow Point. Clyde Hill really borders more into Bellevue. It's honestly same thing, kind of a smaller area, but it's really popular. People kind of go a little crazy in this area. I feel like people really like this area. The schools are good. You're going to be like in the Bellevue school area, but it's more of an affluent neighborhood, definitely a quiet lifestyle neighborhood. There's really large lots in Clyde Hill. The city has an ordinance that the lots have to be a minimum of 20,000 square feet. So you're going to get a really large lot in the area. But same thing like with Yarrow Point, there's not a lot of going on in Clyde Hill specifically. It's all going to be Bellevue that you're going to. But you're just, I mean, it's more honestly like a little neighborhood of Bellevue, but it is considered its own town. So you're close to downtown Bellevue and Bellevue Square. I think that's why it's really popular too, because it's proximity to downtown Bellevue. And then depending on where you are in Clyde Hill, sometimes you can get really nice view homes of Lake Washington because you're just right there. So that's number 2. And then the median home price in Clyde Hill is 3.6 million. And there are no condos there either. So again, I guess a little cheaper than Yarrow Point, but still definitely up there in price. Number 3 is Sammamish. Sammamish is east of Bellevue, sits right on Lake Sammamish. So Sammamish is a really, really popular area. I think it's gotten a lot more popular over the last few years too. And again, it's because of the really desirable school district. And then Sammamish, you're going to find definitely a lot more single family homes. There are some condos. There's a couple areas in Sammamish that are more master planned communities, like this area, Klahani is this master planned community with a bunch of different housing complexes in there. So you can find condos that are not quite as expensive as the single family houses. Single family median price is 1.6 million. And then condo, you're looking at about 655. So condos are definitely more affordable, but Lake Sammamish is just really popular because the schools are really good. And then you've got the lake right here. There's a couple of other lakes within Sammamish too that are really desirable. So you get a lot of this outdoor activities, and then you're really close just to nature over here. Then you're getting into the Snoqualmie kind of forest and area. So it's become a really, really popular area. And definitely over here, it's very, if you're not in Klahani or some of these more kind of, I guess, urban areas, Sammamish is very like, you're going to find larger lots, larger homes. There's not a lot of like 2-bedroom, 1-bath homes. They're all 3, 4, 5-bedroom homes, a lot bigger homes. So I think that's where the price gets up there too. But Sammamish is a very popular and desirable area in the city, and it's number 3 for families, according to Niche. Number 4, we've got Redmond. So again, most of these are over here on the east side, but Redmond is right here, just kind of sits northeast of Bellevue. Redmond is known for Microsoft. It's the home of Microsoft. So a lot of people that work at Microsoft live in Redmond. Redmond's got kind of all you can offer. They've got a lot of condos. It can be more urban, definitely more suburban. And then some areas, the further east you get out here, it kind of feels a lot more rural, and you're going to be a little bit more secluded out there. So Redmond's really popular again because the schools are really great. And then it does offer a good mix of types of housing. So median price in Redmond for single family is 1.425 million. Condo is 575. So you kind of get a good mix. And like I said, if you're in the downtown Redmond area, there's a lot of condos there, and it's very, very walkable. It's got a really cute downtown area. You've got Marymore Park right here, which sits right on the northern tip of Lake Sammamish. They have a lot of concerts there in the summer. There's dog parks. There's just a lot to do. So Redmond's a really popular place to call home for families, and it is number 4 on the list. So number 5 is Bellevue. We're going to zoom out here. So Bellevue is like the larger city over on the east side. Their downtown area is right around here. It's big cities, as you can see in this picture. It's definitely got skyscrapers. Like, it's a large city. It's really grown into its own. It used to be more suburb to Seattle, but now Bellevue's got its own thing going on. There's a lot of jobs in Bellevue. So a lot of people that work in Bellevue live in Bellevue or in some of these other cities along the east side. So same thing, Bellevue's going to have a lot of urban lifestyle if you want, and suburban lifestyle, mostly not too rural. Sometimes down here, if you get in this like Coal Creek and Cougar Mountain area, definitely gets a little bit more rural and just like away from as many people, more treed. I mean, there's still a lot of homes out there. It's not like you're not going to see people for miles, but definitely it affords kind of that mixed lifestyle. And then with Bellevue, you can get homes that are either kind of view homes of Lake Washington or even Lake Sammamish. There's a big center over here. And then again, the schools in Bellevue are very, very highly rated, and people really want to live in those areas for the schools. So median price in Bellevue is 1.7 million. And then condos is 659,000. So single family homes are definitely more expensive here. One thing to note too, a lot of the homes in Bellevue are mid-century, kind of that like 1950s, 1960s vibe, where they've been fixed up sometimes. So a lot of these homes, even in like the 1.7 price point, are not like the hugest homes. They're still pretty standard, like split level, 3-bed, 1 3/4 bath, maybe 2,500 square feet homes. But there is a lot of new construction too going on in Bellevue. There's a lot of newer housing complexes coming up. So, and then a lot of condos being built too. So that's Bellevue, number 5. Number 6, we've got Mercer Island. So Mercer Island is just this island that sits right here in Lake Washington. I-90 just goes over right to the north of it. Mercer Island, again, it's another really desirable area. There's a ton of parks in Mercer Island for such a small place. I mean, you can see here. So they've got kind of their city center up here right off I-90. And then the rest of Mercer Island is very suburban and just more spread out feeling. Again, there's a ton of waterfront access on Mercer Island. So you can find waterfront homes pretty easily. They're going to cost you, it's not going to be this median sales price of 2.2 in Mercer Island. They're going to be upwards of that, easy multi-million dollars, but you can find some really great waterfront homes in Mercer Island. And Mercer Island does have condos too. So median price for condos, you're looking at about $597,000. And same thing like with Bellevue that you want to keep in mind in Mercer Island, like that 2.2 million median price is still kind of just like a median home too. It's not this like sprawling mansion estate. It's going to be a pretty standard basic home for that 2.2 million. Probably been fixed up, but a lot of these homes and these neighborhoods, they're older homes that have been fixed up. Number 7 is Issaquah. So another area that's very popular. If you take I-90 all the way over here, you've got Issaquah. Same thing, their school district rate's very, very high. People flock to Issaquah just for the schools. So Issaquah's split kind of between I-90. There's north of Issaquah and then like the Old Town and South Issaquah. So the Old Town's got a really cute, charming downtown. There's condos there. There's kind of the older homes, like the more kind of mid-century or like 70s, 80s homes in Issaquah, the Old Town. And if you go up some of the hills around here, so you've got that option. Or Issaquah also has the Issaquah Highlands, which again is a master planned community within Issaquah. That the Highlands is its own like little neighborhood that you pay an HOA fee for that. And then there's different housing developments within Issaquah Highlands. So Highlands are going to be definitely a lot closer together, a little bit more urban feel, but it's more like planned, master planned out. So it's really charming. A lot of families like living there because you do get the mix of condos, single family homes there, but even the single family homes are going to be much, much smaller lots and not really a lot of yards in the area. But they also have a lot of parks in the Issaquah Highlands where I think you can kind of get around not having a big yard because it is pretty walkable and there's a lot of parks nearby. So those are just some things about Issaquah. Another thing that really brings people to Issaquah is its proximity to Snoqualmie and just the mountains. If you're really into the outdoors, Issaquah is great because you can just pop on and you're over in Snoqualmie really easy and you can be out in nature really easy. And you can't tell from these pictures, but it's mountains all over. Like the Old Town Issaquah sits kind of down below and then you just see like mountains on all sides. So it's really scenic and beautiful too. So that's why another thing that brings people to the area. Excuse me. Median sales price in Issaquah is 1.36 million. And then for condos, you're looking at 597,000. So again, you get a pretty decent mix between single family and condos in the area. But that is Issaquah, number 7. Number 8 is Cottage Lake. So if you go up northeast kind of Seattle, you have this area called Cottage Lake. It's actually like a census designated area, not necessarily like its own city. But it's a really quaint little area. There's Cottage Lake right here. It's not a huge area, but you get kind of this lake vibe area. And then they've got a little bit of a shopping center here, but Cottage Lake is in some of the school districts that, Redmond and Woodinville. I think it's part of North Shore School District, which is really popular. So Cottage Lake can be a good area to call home, but definitely more spread out, more suburban, not quite that urban lifestyle in Cottage Lake. But the median price in Cottage Lake is 1.4 million, and there's no condo sales in the last 6 months. So not a lot of condos there, mostly looking at single family homes in Cottage Lake. Number 9 is Newcastle. So we're going back down south here. Newcastle sits just south of Bellevue and kind of in between Cougar Mountain, this area here. Definitely has a small town feel, but it's close to the city. There's a park there. There's a golf course there. Mostly single family homes, but there are some condos as well. It borders, you can go up to Factoria. This is like a big shopping center mall area. So you're close to Bellevue. And then there's also the Landing in Renton down here, which is another big shopping center area. So you're kind of in between those two. And then Newcastle is also in the desirable school districts of like Issaquah, Bellevue area. So that's what brings a lot of people there. Median price in Newcastle is 1.385 million for single family homes, and then condos are 487 median price. So condos definitely a little bit more affordable compared to some of the other cities that we've talked about over here. And I think Newcastle just in general is a slightly more affordable than some of these cities, but just because it has become so desirable with the schools, prices are going up there pretty quick. And number 10, the last suburb that is good for families, according to niche.com, is Lake Forest Park. So it's up north here. It's a small little community, one that's not really in the east side technically. So it sits up here just north of Lake Washington and north of Seattle. Really nice, quiet community. They don't have like a huge downtown area, a little bit, but it's definitely more suburban feel. But there's larger lots here. And then, yeah, just very treed and like shaded, which obviously Lake Forest Park, the name, it's got a lot of trees in it. And then it sits kind of on the lake too. So this area is nice, especially for people that maybe one person works in Seattle and the other person lives on the east side. It can be kind of a good in between for people. Most of this area up here, like Bothell, Kenmore, can be like that too, where it's a good in between people if they have like split commutes. So just something to keep in mind there. Lake Forest Park median sales price is 1.15. So definitely the least expensive of all of these suburbs. And then the condos are 373 median price. So definitely more affordable for condos. And honestly, there are other homes in this area that are less than $1 million that are still, totally, acceptable homes, like good little starter homes. Lake Forest Park does have like smaller homes, like more 2-bedroom, 1-bath homes, where some other areas, like I mentioned before, like Sammamish, you're not going to find some of those smaller homes, but Lake Forest Park, you can find some of those smaller homes and definitely like less expensive condos. So those are the top 10 suburbs for families. That's 2023, according to niche.com. If you want to go in depth on any of these other suburbs, I have other videos that talks more in depth about a good portion of them, not Yarrow Point or Clyde Hill, but Sammamish, Redmond, Mercer Island, all of those. There are other videos if you want to check out. So if you're thinking about moving to Seattle or any of the suburbs, give us a call, email, text. We got your back when you're moving to Seattle.